Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Ooh, lucky bug.
Are you being sarcastic or something, Martin?
Fool, you should never mix your drinks.
What are you, retarded?
We'll have to take this abuse much longer.
You're a fool! You're a fool! You're a fool!
Oh, that's what we call diarrhea.
You think this is a fucking joke? This ain't Kenny camera. There's no hidden cameras.
Oh shit, I've said fuck. Oh fuck, I've said shit.
Back in us, get a WeaponCollector, Ross.
I could knock him out in the shed. Are you kidding me? That is crazy.
I'm pissed off. I'm sad.
Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time.
Is this not why you are here?
Greetings, travellers. Welcome to the Spiroverse. Tonight is going to be a long Spiroverse special featuring the brand new episode of the Spyro Files, episode 5. We shall have the 4th book reading from the Tales of the Spiroverse by Z.Z. And we shall have an extended edition of the Spiroverse documentary, Welcome to the Spiroverse. Now this version has the book reading removed and new and unseen interviews added. Also, you'll see a lot more content that has never been seen before. So let's get down to it, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, I say enjoy it. Welcome to the Spiroverse. Lots of people watching will not actually have any idea what the Spiroverse is. So in this documentary I'm going to try to explain to you the phenomenon known as the Spiroverse nether regions, and all of the other connected interworlds and other lore that goes with it. This all started with a live stream which I now think was being fed information subconsciously, possibly by the Spiroverse itself, to bring us into the fold and show us what's really going on. So what I'll do first is I think I will show you the live stream so that you can get the background of where this all started, and then I can give you some history and information of what I have found after doing some research. So before I play you the live stream highlights, I'll tell you a little bit of history about spiral pattern makers and the company who created them. I'm going to have to be careful with some of the wording I use due to trademark issues and copyright. So I'm going to call them spiral pattern makers from now on, and if I have to say the company name, I'll play a little clip so you will be aware of possibly what the company is. You can make your own mind up without it ever being said.
Don't do that, that's all he has, bro.
So basically, the more I research this, there is a phenomenon known as the Spiroverse, the nether regions, and multiple other phenomenon with it, where if you use a spiral pattern maker, people can have quite bad experiences, to the degree that you can disappear forever. And from what I've researched, it appears that people disappear and are tortured basically forever on an essential time loop. It appears some children go missing as well. The more I research this, it appears to be children in a bad home situation tend to be taken away, and children who are in a better situation tend to have bad experiences, like being scared, having nightmares. And when you look into it, the Spiroverse is part of a mass of multiple universes, and I suspect now that the children from the bad homes, the abused children, are being actually taken away to a better place, and the other children are just being warned away. because where they are is perfectly fine. It appears that adults who do the spiral maker patterns, who are quite evil, tend to be taken away and tortured, or receive an injury called crinkle cut cock, which we'll talk about later. So that's the very basics of the Spiroverse. I will now show you a live stream of where we became aware of it, and then give you some more history afterwards. So what you're going to see now is around about 12-minute footage of the highlights of the live stream where we became acutely aware of the Spiroverse. Enjoy. Ain't Fragan said, do you think watching the Saw films subliminally made you buy a new Saw? You know what? Nice one. It might have. You know what? It might have. Because for years and years and years, I've been sawing away with this shitty saw that makes my shoulder fucking kill. Maybe it did. Maybe it finally spurred me on. I never thought about that. But yeah, maybe it finally did. Nick said, that's what those films were all along, a massive advert for big. Maybe, and I just didn't. And yes, you know what's happened, Nick? Right. So, all of the Saw films were a massive subliminal advert for B&Q. Once everyone had got enough saws, they changed the name, didn't they? To Jigsaw. There we are. Now they're trying to sell jigsaws. Now they've sold enough jigsaws, they've changed it into Spiral. Now, what a Spiral is, I don't know. That's a Spiral. Now I want to buy a Spiral. There you go. Dad said, I got given a Spiral when I was a kid. I once did a design that was so weird and sort of otherworldly, it frightened me, and I put it in the cupboard, never used it again. Fuck's sake. That 8th year said to Zed, weird you should say that. My dad got one as a kid and played with it once. I had a nightmare about it. That night, never played with it again. That's well weird, though, isn't it? Now you two say that, that's bizarre. Was you two like? Was they like? I don't know, opening up some fucking Spyro fucking portal to like another world or something? Maybe you were. Maybe you'd done the exact combination that had opened up some fucking portal to the fucking netherworld. And maybe that's what Spyrographs are. Maybe that's what they are. Nick said maybe Spyrographs was sold under the table by Satanists. Maybe. See, there you go. Maybe they have got, like we all know you shouldn't mess with Ouija boards. There you go. What we need to do is make a film about Spyro opening up a portal to hell, and then people will finally take them seriously. And I'm not taking the piss out of Luke or Zed there, because I just found it really amusing though that two people have had sort of weird nightmares about them. That may be a real, that may be like not a real thing, like a common thing. Bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely bizarre. 8th Rare Gunner said next it'll be an etch sketch. Yes, etch sketch. Well, I think honestly the fact that now that two people have said they've had nightmares, it's a cursed toy. That just people don't talk about what it does. Yeah, there you go, Nick. How's Spider Madness affected your family? If it's happened to two people, it must have happened to loads more. It's a thing, Nick. It's got to be. I'm going to have to research this now. And it's going to turn out that there have been kids doing Spider disappeared. Never to be seen ever again. And there's like a burn mark in the middle of the graph pattern. Nick said, imagine if we looked it up and there was actually a spike in missing kids on the day they came out. That would be proper weird, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, Nick, it's a real thing. It's real. It's real. And if it ain't real, it's real in some other universe, I'm telling you. That's if there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Spyro Busters. Who's willing, though? Who's going to be willing to tie a rope on them, get sucked in? Who's willing to do that? I don't know if I am. Dad said, you can do some hideous design graph, believe me. And you do get holes in the middle of them. Fuck, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight, am I? I'd say so. If I'd have known that it was affecting you that much, I probably would have shut up. But yes, I believe it's real. Here you go, Zed. There's a new story for you. I would love you to write us horror stories for next Halloween. I can't talk about the missing small one, Supreme Leader. Swirly Twirly will send the heavies after me with a ninja throwing spires. Oh, fucking hell. That didn't even cross my mind that they might have weapons. That's changed things slightly now. That has changed things slightly. Too busy thinking about demons, let alone things that might come in here. You know, come to our world. But I am convinced, Samurai, that what's happening is, and I've told these lot I'm deadly serious, right? Deadly serious. You know, not even going to wink at you. I look like I was having a fit. So you do the Spirograph thing. What's happening is children do. Yeah, it's like, yes, like a Ouija board. Exactly that. They are. That's what I mentioned that. Yes. So you know how a Ouija board was once essentially a toy? Well, now we're convinced that Spirograph, if you do the wrong pattern, it opens up a portal to another world, sucks you in, and I reckon if you go back and look at all of the records for all of the children that ever went missing and never came back, they would definitely 100% been playing with Spyro. 100%, telling you. But no one's ever noticed. I'm telling you. Oh, the demons are real. They torture people in various ways using satanic Spyros. One being starting a large swirl and trapping your foreskin in it as it goes round till it eventually comes off. Samurai Bastard, what the hell have you guys been smoking? Oh God, I don't know. Maybe something's in the air. I don't know. I'll tell you what happened was basically two different people in the chat said that they used Spirographs and they both had terrible experiences from it. And I've put 2 and 2 together, come up with 15, and I'm now absolutely 100% convinced that Spirographs are evil and they're taking people. And Zed and Luke's dad are just lucky they're still here, because you know they was nearly sucked into a netherworld portal, or probably nearly had their foreskins ripped off as well. So, you know, lucky escape there. Kenny's don't do that. TV and mirrors, hundreds of Spyro foreskins fly out. Oh God. So now there's a load of people going around with I'm gonna have to draw a picture of this. Some of you may not be able to understand where I'm going with this. So now there's going to be a load of people. This will be quite a crude picture. I can now picture loads of people. This is how you know. How can you identify a Spyro victim? Oh my God. You have seen that scar tissue. Fucking hell. Oh God. Nick said they've got a cock like a crinkle cut chip. Exactly, that's it. So, have you ever seen a crinkle cut cock? If you have, there's now a oh fucking hell. There's something about the word crinkle cut cock. It just sort of sounds perfectly. I don't know. Sounds like a real fucking thing. Oh God. Without reality, they told me that they had to have a circumcision as an older teen because of infection. Now I know the truth. There you go. Now you do, Metallic. Now you do. Yeah, blaming it on an infection. Right. I reckon it's when you make the hole that you get sucked through. I think that's what it is. Oh, I get you. Yeah. So you're doing it too much. You create the hole. That hole opens up to the Spiroverse Neverworld, sucks you in, and then never to be seen again. And while you're down there, people have managed to look through the hole and they've seen, you know, these torture methods going on. Yeah, see you later, peeps. Sam Roberto, I'm going to go look for my kid's Spyro. You'll be on later. Yeah, I will be, definitely. I'll definitely be on later. He said, I think if I use the Spyro, put Slayer on backwards, I might be an idea of what we're up against. Just be careful though. Samurai, definitely tie a chain around your waist or something, or at least stick a broom through your belt loop. And if they try and suck you down the hole, the broom will stop you going in. There you go. I just found a foolproof. Yeah, I can't think of the word, but yes, foolproof thing to stop you getting sucked into the Spiroverse Neverworld. That's what I just come back onto. Nick said, I don't think that'll help your case. Getting section. That was right. This stream is starting to seem like a fever dream. Where am I? Context is key. Wouldn't want to forget what happened to the foreskin on that dick pic. Fuck's sake. Black said, where's that YouTube visual bot when you need him? The talent reality, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those nights my neighbours will have to put up with my random outbursts of laughing. Crinkle Cut said, I thought Mike was going to say, want to save yourself from Spyro Demons. That actually, as I was saying it, I thought someone's going to think I'm saying that. Someone's definitely going to think I'm saying that. Some of it, I'll use my katana. Good idea. Camera buyers better. Thanks, Mike. I'll catch you later. See if you can get back on. You know, I'm quite worried now. If you're going to do a spy, well, let's all wish Samurai Bird good luck. Good luck, mate. Please come back. Spyro Foreskin collecting demon said, yo, Mike, did you summon me? I'm in for the C.C.C leftovers. You know, like vampires, you can hold up a cross. You know how to beat a fucking Spyro demon? All you need is a pole, because the fucker can't suck you down the hole then. That said, me and 83 against Spyro, of course. I don't. Thing is, what, mate? What I'll tell you why it just sort of came very organic, Zed. But it was because it sort of amused me that two people had the same experience. And in my head, as a sort of joke to myself, I thought that must be a common thing then. And then I thought, well, if that's a common thing, who knows? Right, hang on. What's Louise saying? Did she have a nightmare as well? Dad said I said I did a pattern with it and it frightened me. And I locked it in the cupboard and never used it again. Yeah, that's amazing. I genuinely think that's fucking amazing. Louise said, yeah, I know when I played with one as a kid and looked at it for ages, it was like being on a trip. That's 3 people now. I'm telling you, it's fucking true. That was trying to suck her in, but the hole wasn't there. Louise, you was that close to being sucked into a Spiroverse Neverworld. It's just you just happened to have not made a hole in it. If you'd have made a hole in that paper, you would have got sucked in there, and we would never even know you now. I'm telling you, you're so lucky. Zed's lucky he chucked it in the cupboard. Luke's dad had nightmares about it. Count yourself lucky, I'm telling you. You know, that's 3 people who've corroborated this story now. I'm telling you, it's 100% true. 100% true. You need to spread the word. Everybody spread the word. So there you go. That was the live stream. And as you can see, there was quite a few people saying that they have bad experiences from Spirographs. And just the way it came about seemed like we was being subconsciously led down a path to discover this phenomenon. And the more I looked into it, the more I found. So I did some research into the company that makes these spiral pattern makers.
Stop that, that's all she has, bro.
And you'll be surprised, or you may not be when you hear the information. So I did some research into the company that makes the spiral pattern makers, and I was quite surprised when I found the same famous company that makes the spiral makers make quite a few other toys, but there is one very famous toy that they make. One that has a very evil reputation. The Ouija board. So straight away I think there's a connection there. So there it is there. There is some proof that it comes from the same lineage as the Ouija board. And people take those very seriously. Another thing that happened after the live stream, I was sent a clip from The Simpsons, of all places, and we all know that The Simpsons have pretty much predicted everything. Just watch this clip.
Yo, Dr. S, have you seen Millhouse today?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Wait, did you know that there's a direct correlation between the decline of Spirograph and the rise in gang activity? Think about it.
I will.
No, you won't.
So there you go. What I gather from that clip is the Spirograph will take children from bad homes to a better place. But if children are not using Spirographs, those children from broken homes are often going on to join gangs. So there you go. The Simpsons predicted it, as they often do. Another phenomenon I had while trying to research the Spiroverse, every single time I tried to go back onto my own videos, it would not work. I would keep getting patterns and pictures coming up every single time I tried to click on these videos. Multiple times. So I'd click the video and it would just be colours. Click the video, it would just be colours. Click the video, it would just be colours. I now suspect that was something from the Spiroverse potentially trying to send me signals on the colour combinations to open a spiral portal. Which, no thank you, I'm not doing that. And then the last thing to happen after the live stream was what happened to Samurai Bird. So you saw Samurai Bird's comments in the live stream. Well, later on, after he used a spiral pattern maker, he went to work and he fell off of a ladder, was very badly injured. I now suspect that may have been some kind of warning to him not to try risking opening the Spiroverse portals. He was very badly hurt. But that is the nature of the Spiroverse. What you're about to see now is a reconstruction of what happened to Samurai Bird after the original live stream. This footage has been added to the extended version. That night, Samurai Bird had decided to play Slayer backwards while doing a spirograph. And what you will see now is a reconstruction of what happened to him.
What the hell is that?
And it's gone.
Samurai Bird was very badly injured, but I suspect this was just a warning from the nether regions for messing around with spirographs, and also due to Samurai's good nature that he wasn't sucked into the nether regions and never seen again. Later, Samurai Bird posted the video you will see next.
Hey guys, Samurai Bird here.
And Miss Bird.
I just wanted everyone to know that I'm going to be okay. The Spyro Demons and Spiroverse itself was warning me not to mess around with things that I don't fully understand. I do have a scar to remind me of my encounter with the Spiroverse.
Don't let him fool you. This fucking Spiroverse shit is bullshit. He fell down a fucking hole at work.
Okay, well, I'm Samurai Bird saying it's all noodles, no spaghetti.
So we've done some history, and I've told you the facts. I'll just go over a little recap now. So, the Spiroverse. Started a live stream, the phenomenon was created, I researched it, it appears it's real. Evil adults tend to be teleported to a place where they are tortured for the rest of their existence from spiral pattern maker type blades and other methods. This has been observed, but only a few times, and the footage is always very bad. People have managed to record down a Spiroverse portal, and the footage is often very frightening. Not very good quality, but horrific. People who avoid going down the portals tend to receive an injury called crinkle cut cock, which can consist of either just your foreskin being cut off in a sort of crinkle cut pattern, or your whole entire penis is cut completely in half, leaving just a crinkle cut, almost cauterized flesh at the tip. Children from broken homes, abused children, tend to be taken away, and we suspect that they're being taken away to an actual better place now. And lots of other children tend to have bad experiences from them. Headaches, nightmares, trippy sort of experiences, or just fear of the actual item and want to get rid of it. We now have some interviews with some people I've met along the way making this documentary. I've been travelling extensively across the country and the world to interview people to do with the Spiroverse. It's very, very difficult to get people to talk on camera. Most people will either want to talk with a voice changer or their face hidden, or not at all. These are some interviews I managed to get in relation to the Spiroverse. I hope you enjoyed them. They were quite difficult to get. The first interview you're going to see is with a lady I met called Wendy, whose son went missing around about 10 years ago. He has never been seen since, but due to much research on my part and one of the later interviewees, we have determined that he was probably taken away through a Spiroverse portal and taken to a better place.
My son went missing 10 years ago. I never thought much of it at the time. I always suspected his dad took him. We did look for him for an afternoon. The neighbor even put up some missing posters, but he was never seen again. A year later, Mr. S.H.I.T visited me and told me about the Spiroverse and that he had seen the posters and the spiral pattern maker information. I never trusted that man, but he told me all about the other missing kids and how it goes with the spirals. That boy was always messing with those bloody things. I hated them. They made me feel all funny like, but he seemed to like them in a weird way. S.H.I.T asked me if there was a spiral with a burnt hole in it. I said I wasn't sure. I never liked looking at that crap, and I slung them all away, but there could have been a burned one. Have you seen my son? Here's a picture of him the day he went missing. Take no notice of the bruises. He was a clumsy boy. I never did nothing to him, so don't say I did.
I suspect Wendy's son has been taken to a better place. It's not my place to say that, but the environment that Wendy was bringing up her child was not the kind of place you'd want a child growing up. She claims in her interview that she'd chucked away all of the spiral patterns he did. That's a lie. Under his bed, I found this. The word angel is misspelled at the top. This is what leads me to believe that he was taken away to a better place, away from this abusing household. I also found under his bed this spiral with a burnt hole in the middle. The next interview will be with a mental patient I met, Arthur Quattropo. He's been in the hospital for quite a while. I suspect he is mentally ill, but I also believe his story. He showed me physical evidence, and just use your imagination, but I have seen a crinkle cut cock firsthand, and it is not pretty. It was shocking.
Been in here 6 years. Why won't these bastards believe me? It was Spyro demons. They mutilated me. I was only messing around with that fucking spiral maker. I heard you could see into other worlds if you did it the right way, and it's true. Only it's not what you think it is. It's not a nice place. They say you can get sucked in unless you wear a safety broomstick attachment. So I wore one, thinking I'd be alright. What those fuckers never told me was that if you do wear it, the demons just cut your cock off instead. Or only the foreskin if you're lucky, if you can call that lucky. Look at me now. They have me locked in here, cock cut to ribbons. You ever seen a crinkle cut cock? I'll show you. You just hold on there, I'll show you, then you'll believe me. Please get me out of here. I still see those fucking patterns in my dreams.
As soon as Arthur had showed me his crinkle cut cock, he was taken away by the nurses, and he was shouting, "They're trying to open a portal! They're trying to open a portal!" I've since spoken to more patients, and it appears that there are quite a few patients in that asylum who rant and rave about the Spiroverse, spiral pattern makers, portals, Spiroverse gates. I think at a later date I'm going to have to investigate the asylum a lot more. Something's going on there. Mark Desard. What can I say about Mark, other than he is probably one of the weirdest people I've ever met. Describes himself as an S&M enthusiast, Spiroverse investigator, and connoisseur of the weird and wonderful. When I met Mark, it turns out he knows quite a lot about the Spiroverse. Having already met Wendy, as you heard her speak about him, he's been researching the Spiroverse for quite a while, and I suspect for evil intent, possibly for his own gratification, sexual gratification. As I've mentioned, Mark Desard is a very weird man.
I found out about the Spiroverse in the late 90s after being arrested at an S&M event. Some unlucky chap got cut, shall we say, in the groin area, and I was questioned over something called C.C.C. I had no idea at the time. I would say I'm a connoisseur of the weird and bizarre, so started to look into it. After much research, it appears certain children would disappear when using a spiral maker, mostly abused ones for some reason, and the children with good homes seemed to have adverse reaction to the spirals, but that was all. I was never interested in the kids. It was the teleporting I wanted to know about. If anything, those abused ones were probably getting taken to a better place, and the other kids got a warning to stop using them. If you look up any information about the Spiroverse, it all comes back to multiple universes. I wanted to see those other places. Surely everyone wants to see the unknown, feel new feelings and pleasure. After much research, it appears certain patterns will open a portal. My initial thoughts were to open a small portal and look in, but that's when you get crinkle cut cock or worse. So I thought I could use a telescopic sight and a camera to film it, aim it down the portal. I also handcuffed my leg to the radiator over there, and then I used a broom in my trousers belt loop to stop me going down the hole. They now call those safety broomstick attachments in the Spiroverse investigation groups. Do you want to see the footage? We can have some dinner after. Fancy a drink?
there's his footage. Very grainy, but you can see the discs, you can see the torture, you can see the blood. I have no idea who that is happening to, but as far as I'm aware, that happens eternally once you're taken there. One other thing I would like to mention is Mr. Dessard did cook me dinner. He invited me to the dining room and bought us out a meal. I now suspect Dessard is potentially trying to receive crinkle-cut cock. I have no evidence of this. As I mentioned, I think he's slightly insane. Mark Dessard is now missing, presumed dead by the police. I suspect he's been taken to the Spiroverse. And having travelled to America, I finally interviewed Otis. He had been promising me a very interesting story for quite a while. I met him. He couldn't really walk properly at the time. Wouldn't tell me why. He said I would find out during the interview.
This one time I was out drinking with Billy Sue and Jeb. We'd been out hunting and drinking, and had a right good old time. Spent the whole weekend shooting shit, and drinking beers. Boy, we had a good time. Well, it was good till the spiral stuff came up. I got hurt real bad when we tried that shit. Never again. I can still hardly walk right now. One of them boys mentioned those spiral maker thingies being in the cabin. Jeb reckoned if you did it right you could call a genie or some shit. BS, that's what we call Billy Sue. Said it ain't a genie, it's a demon. And you need to use a protective stick to stop them hurting you. We started daring each other to try it, and I got double dared, so had to do it then. We went back to the cabin and Jeb found the spiral thing out. Even then I didn't like the look of it. Looks like hundreds of teeth to me. So we lay the paper down, and get them toothy rings out, and then I remember. You guys said I had to use a stick to protect me. So BS gets a nice big old stick and says I need to put it down between my ass cheeks. So I get that big old cane. I look at the top, decide no. Then the bottom, that looks better, and I rammed it right up my ass. My thinking was the more it went in the better the protection. I never felt pain like that before. There was blood and the feeling of ripping. I was in agony. Then I fainted. By the time I woke up the boys said the genie and been and gone. I never did get a wish or see a demon, and to top it all my ass still hurts, and that was my experience with a spiral maker.
So there you go. That one was a complete waste of time. The next interview is from Jim M, a brand new member of the Spyro hunting and intel team.
I officially became a member of a very elite club this week, the Spyro hunting and intel team. Unfortunately, I fear that I might have awakened some dark forces. It's been a weird week ever since, and I don't feel like tempting fate. Now then, for those in the know, fellow Spyro hunting and intel team members, I might need your advice. Like I said earlier on, I've got a nasty feeling I've awakened some dark forces, and I'm beginning to fear for my own safety. Since I put that sticker on the car and made the Spiroverse, or whatever it is that's going on out there, aware of my involvement, things have been going strangely. I got out the car the same morning as I applied the sticker. Got out the car at the allotment, and I trod on that. I haven't seen one of these in 35, 40 years probably. And the very same morning that I made it known on my car that I'm a member of the Intel team, that happened. I spent all day yesterday trying the broom thing, but I think I misunderstood that. It's just left me with a bit of a limp today, to be honest. I don't really fancy doing that again. Mike, Zed, anybody, if you've got any advice what I can do. I don't know whether I should burn this, I don't know whether I should keep it, I don't know whether I should throw it to the winds. Let me know before it's too late. I did even take a slight precaution today, just coming up here. You know, I'm taking things easy and just not tempting fate. I'm trying to keep myself safe from whatever demonic activity it is that I've awoken. You know, in the old vampire films, if you came across Bela Lugosi or Peter Cushing, you'd hold up a Bible. I'm hoping that if anything happens today, I can just do this. Okay, so very importantly, fellow Spiroverse Intel team agents, please advise, what do I do with that little Spyro disc? I don't want to anger the gods. At the same time, I don't want to bring myself any undue woes. I'm thinking burning. Let me know. Oh, my knee. I'll see you later.
The path travelled by the brush is a spiral path, or curved path. Now I'm going to try to demonstrate how the circle is produced in this way. Notice that the gaps are being filled in on each successive rotation until the entire circle is created.
It was overcast, no sunshine, a sort of a dull-ish sort of day. It's this field here, it was in winter barley at the time, it's a cornfield most of the time. And looking across, diagonally, looking at the wood behind, it was to the left, about halfway along the wood line that you can probably see on the film. The first one, where I stood in the field nearby, and then when that died away, the second one appeared nearer the tree, over near the woods, and it was not very many yards away from me. But the important point about it that struck me with it was the circular motion of the ashes in the grit on the ground. It's just rotating at a high speed on the ground, about 2 feet wide, 2 feet 6 perhaps on the ground. And that was unusual. That was one of the unusual things about it. And this went on for several minutes. And then this died away. And then another one appeared about 200 yards from me then, in the other corner of the field. And this was a similar situation, again, lasting about the same time. I've worked these fields for 50 years, and I've never seen anything like it before, nothing at all like it.
It was later discovered that the experiments that were being done caused multiple Spyro portals to open, and everyone involved received crinkle-cut cock injuries.
It all started when I was a small boy and my father bought me a Spirograph. First I thought it was fun, it was great. Then the more I used it, the more creepy things become. Very, very strange things started to happen, and it's hard to say because it genuinely is quite scary, okay? So I'm just hoping that people understand this, how serious this can be. On one particular occasion, I was alone in my room. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. It was bedtime. I got the Spirograph out, and I just started going around and around and around. And the more intricate and the more I focused on the center of the spiral, all of a sudden I vanished inside. It was unbelievable. It was almost like a portal, if that makes sense. So as I feel myself getting pulled in, and it's given me nightmares from that day to this. And luckily for me, I was able to grab hold of the edge, and as I looked down inside, There's things that I wouldn't want anyone to see in their life. Absolutely horrific. I managed to pull myself out, but I got a glimpse of what is inside the Spiroverse. And let me tell you, don't play games. Because of that, I live on my own out in the wilderness, and it's the only way I can escape from what I saw. It still haunts me from time to time. But let me tell you this, do not muck around with it, it's deadly serious. The Spiroverse is real, and you really need to stay away from it.
So there you go. That is the phenomenon known as the Spiroverse and the Nether Regions. Be very careful if you ever use a spiral pattern maker. It could be your undoing. The proof is there. Let me know what you think. If you had experiences with the Spiroverse, even down to something minor, please let me know in the comments, because there will be a part 2 to this documentary, and at a later date there's going to be a full feature film. Don't have nightmares, don't get crinkle cut cock, sleep well, goodbye. What do you mean there's no food?
I'm sorry, sir. There is no food.
But we're starving here.
Sir, there is nothing we can do.
Well, what about my family?
Have you considered cooking something yourself?
No, that's not an option. Son of a bitch. What is that? Join us for some crinkle cut cuisine. Free home delivery. 10% discount for all crinkle cut cock victims. Opening hours, anytime a spirograph is used. Items marked free are available when ordered after doing a spirograph. Similar to that shown on this menu, you will receive all the free options and much more. Call 45412 Spyro Demons R Us. We shall be waiting for you in the Spiroverse Nether Regions. Thank you, Crinkle Cut Cuisine.
Good evening. Tonight, on Tales from the Spiroverse, we'll tell you the cautionary tale of Monty the dog. A dog who was found in a house completely covered in gore. All the walls had spirographic pictographs drawn on them, and the pup in question was found covered in blood, and no remains of his owners were ever found. To this day, Monty the dog won't go near spirographs because spirographs are bad.
One day we were doing spirographs and we asked Monty, would you like to do a spirograph with us? No, spirograph. Monty said you can fuck right off with your spirograph bullshit. No, spirograph. Fuck off, demon. Or is it a Desmond?
I'd like to tell the kids kept up the good game that Monty did a spirograph, but life in the Spiroverse isn't a fairy tale.
Oh, spirographs. No, spirograph.
You are about to watch a show so shocking, so terrifying, it can only be shown on YouTube. The Spyro Files. A registered nurse, trained in the treatment of terror, will be on duty during this showing of The Spyro Files. You have been warned.
That's the funnest place to be.
What the fuck is this? You want me to do some kind of press conference to explain my actions? Something to do with the fires and the explosions? Government trying to shut down shit? Well, they can fuck right off with that. That ain't gonna happen. Guess I'd better get prepared.
This fucking stinks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike. I'm here on behalf of the Spyro Hunting and Intelligence team to discuss allegations of crimes that shit has committed, and also to answer any questions on the discussed closure of Spyro Hunting and Intel team.
Really stepped in this shit now.
So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking your questions and I'll answer them as
This is
honestly as I
England.
can.
We have gun laws here.
Now this is a
Why does your
private
shit need a
press
gun?
conference, so it is just myself and
The smell of
you
this shit
reporters.
is most unacceptable.
And depending on the outcome of this conference, shit may be or may not be shut
We
down.
love shit. We
There's
love
plenty of
shit.
drinks for everyone, so help yourself to the beverages, and I hope you enjoy them. Right. It appears that some of the questions will be coming in from overseas. Those questions will be broadcast on the big screen over there.
Dick Hassel, Tennessee Institute of Technology. What is this shit? I mean, every day I see it, I've got shit on my fucking phone.
Shit killed. Why does
I've
shit
got
kill
shit on my
people?
television. Every time my morning routine, I've got shit on my newspaper. What is this?
The only thing I can say, Dick, is it's good shit. Okay, we'll go over to the reporter on the big screen there. Well, he looks like he's in a shitter.
Recent evidence suggests that shit could be fingered in a number of crimes. Does this concern you?
Well, all I can say is, you say crimes, it depends what country you're in.
What is shit scared
Is
of?
it true that the government are trying to run a shit smear campaign?
You know what? I do believe they are. Hopefully, we can stop it today. Let's have a question from our Indian friend over there.
There are allegations that the most shit mission seem to be ending in a large mess, requiring massive amounts of cleanup. Could this be wiped clean?
Well, I don't know about wiped clean. I like to sort of just shove it under the rug, personally. Let's have a question from Laurie Burns and Q.
Is it true that some in the British government are now standing up for shit?
Well, apparently they are now. Next question will be from Mason Adams.
What are the biggest obstacles to shit moving forward?
Well, government are definitely trying to make it difficult, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
Why can't shit operate?
Right, let's have a question from the big bloke in the background there. One with a sawn-off shotgun and a fishing rod.
Hardy, this is Raoul Moore to Fishing Weekly. What is the benefit of working with shit in your eyes?
You certainly can't live without shit. You need us,
You
really.
and your organisation are full of it.
Another question from the man on the front row there. Yeah, the one with the pink t-shirt on.
Does shit really stink?
What is the consistency of shit? Easy to maintain or a lot of turnover?
Well, we try our hardest. Things are running smoothly now.
Man, this shit's corny as
Right,
hell.
let's have a question from Bobby Thompson, is it?
Yeah, Hardy, Bobby Thompson, Newcastle Chronicle. Is it true that your organisation is starting a new transport company called Shit Strains?
We certainly are.
This shit's
And the head
corny as
operative running
hell.
that will be our good friend, Richard Strains. Oh, it looks like we've got a phone call coming in with a question. Okay, go ahead.
This shit's on a roll.
Yeah, just calling in because I think I recognise the guy there sitting there who's like the representative of shit. I just want you to know, I've always respected you.
Well, I've never been fond of you. When I was younger, I could have taken you any time. Let's have a question from Chris Flemmers.
Does shit have swimming training so they can drop their kids off at the pool?
Well, I don't have kids, and I can't swim.
Diarrhea squirt.
Okay, we'll go over to the reporter on the big screen there.
Has the government's slow and steady pressure made an impact to the process of shit?
They've tried to, but we're still going at it thick and fast. Well, apparently we've got a phone call coming through.
Now, stop this
Go
shit
ahead.
and put
Yes,
a plug
hello.
in it.
Right. It's about what's been going on with fires connected to this organisation you're looking at. A couple of months ago, me and the missus decided to have a little break, collected all coupons out back of paper, yeah, down get a bungalow down at Skeggy. I don't mind saying, at my age, need a little bit of help. So I sent off for some of them dick pills out back at magazine. Anyway, I tracked it, they're at the depot. Next thing I know, fucking things burned down. Is that the fella sitting there who's responsible for this? If so, let's have his address and do some fucking compensation.
Look, that had nothing to do with me.
Stop this shit and put a
I
plug
will
in
say
it.
no comment. Well, apparently we've got another phone call coming through.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm through. Hello. Yeah, I got a question. What? Mate, I am live. I'm live. I got through. Fuck's sake. Anyway, I got a question, like. Did I not say I was on the fucking phone? Listen, I'm gonna call you back, yeah?
Call back a bit later, mate. I'm sure you'll get through. Right, let's have a question from the elderly man. Yeah, the bald one there, that's it. Yeah.
What happens if one of you goes rogue? You employ your shit catchers.
I can assure you, none of us ever go rogue.
Okay, stank.
An EMP device and some memory loss serum. That should sort those bastards out. I'll just turn the EMP on when the conference starts, and no recordings will be able to be made. And the memory loss serum can go in their drinks. Talking of drinks, I'm going to put some laxatives in there as well. That'll teach those bastards to mess with shit.
Your Spyro mission today is to go undercover to stop the government from shutting down the Spyro hunting and intelligence team. Find the source of the liquidation request and stop it immediately. DC had a few will be on a separate secret mission and cannot help you this time. You will however be aided in this mission by a secret government informant known only as Jonathak. They will be contacting you via your phone and will be using a voice changer as a disguise. Jonathak is here to help us find out who requested us to be shut down and enable you to stop it or take the culprit out permanently. Good job on sabotaging the secret press conference. None of the journalists attending managed to record a thing, and the memory loss serum and laxatives worked a treat. Also well done on not just blowing the place up or locking the doors and burning it to the ground like you usually do. Your mission commences now. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hello, this is your informant Jonathak. I will be aiding you in your mission to prevent the closure of the Spyro hunting and intelligence team. I will be passing on details of where to go and what to do. Your first location is a local restaurant. Find the evidence to discover who and why they're trying to close shit down. Let the information sink in and everything will pan out just right. I will text you the coordinates now.
All day boozy breakfast. Don't mind if I do. Sounds like a good place to me. God, fucking hell, stinks in here. Who the hell is cooking anything in here? Where's the booze? I haven't had a drink in 10 minutes. What am I looking for? Hang on, what's that? There's something in that sink. Fuck am I? Ugh. Ugh. Why am I in a field? Oh, hang on. Oh no. Ah, fuck. Still there, still intact. Whew. That won't get me. Hello?
It's Jonathak. What happened to you? You appear to have failed to recover the evidence from the restaurant. My sources say the next location is a cabin in the woods. You will need to travel across some fields to get there. Don't be sheepish, there's not a conspiracy out to get you. I'll send you the coordinates now.
Guess I better find this cabin then. What way? What a gay day. What an absolute lovely gay day. Why does hear a sheep talk?
The sky is a projection.
Oh, food is poison.
Moonland in your face.
Are they talking?
God will save us.
Loves us.
Yeah, that little one.
Oh, the booze is poison. Oh, the booze is poison.
What the fuck?
Get him!
Fucking hell. Go away. Don't fuck for fences. Now, where have I got to go?
Samurai Bird with Bird Jr. with a live version of my new song called I Fell 10 Feet on My Head. Enjoy. I was playing with my Spirograph. I used to do it for a laugh. I never thought some demons would arise. I played for fun with my kids. Went to work the next day I did. Fell 10 feet, I'm lucky to be alive. Spiroverse, Spirograph. Danger don't add up, I've done the math. Spirograph. Don't be able, demons won't attack. Guys from Hasbro had a laugh. They invented Spirograph. Gateway to the demons of the dead. Didn't know that playing once caused me to step out and run. End up falling 10 feet on my head. Spiroverse, Spirograph. Danger don't add up, I've done the math. Spiroverse, Spirograph.
Who the fuck are you? Looks like we've got ourselves a Spirograph standoff. Huh, isn't that just like a Desmond? Bring a Spirograph to a gunfight. Hello?
Jonathak again, still no luck. The next location is a local library not far from you. Should be as easy to find as going from A to Z. No poison pen letters here, hopefully. You'll find what you are looking for this time. I promise, my word is my bond. Time is ticking, don't let shit get flushed away. I'll send you the coordinates now.
Ah, this must be the place. Tales from the Spiroverse. I've heard of these. Some people say Z not Z writes about shit, but I've heard he writes about many of the Spiroverse things, and that they're quite good really. I've also heard there's a fourth one coming soon. Ah, here we go. Confidential. That must be what I'm looking for. Oh, what's that? Crinkle cut cuisine? Ah, those dirty bastards. These was the ones selling the crinkle cut foreskins. Oh, bit of booze. Don't mind if I do.
God! Oh, the dam is about to burst. Why is there smoke? Where's it all coming from? There's nothing left. What's that noise? Hang on, I can hear ticking. Holy fuck, is that a bomb? Oh God, what a horrible nightmare. Oh, phew. Still there, still intact. Thank fuck for that. Fucking hell, holy shit. Where am I? Hospital? Why am I clothes different? Fucking hell, that's horrible. Oh, it must have been the explosion. I need to call Hadafy. Oh, Hadafy. Glad you're alright. I had a horrible dream that I shot you. Yeah. No, I appear to be in the hospital. They've tried to blow me up. I can't tell you too much though. You know. Yeah. No, I'm going to need to go. I suspect there's Desmond's here. Well, at least my gear's next to me. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to escape. Right, I'll talk to you soon. Right, let's get out of here.
He's getting away! Get after him! You get after him. I'm not doing it. After him. All of you. I'm not getting him. You get him. I want bigger rations of crinkle cut foreskins before I go into any dangerous situations.
I want some foreskins. I don't want to run though. Can you go get him? Bring him back.
Oh, he's mine. I'll get him. Gonna crinkle cut that cock. Bye.
Having dumped my getaway vehicle, I made my way to the closest bus stop. I have arrived in London, or as I spell it, S-H-I-T H-O-L-E, shithole. It's weird that I'm now getting direct text from the shit headquarters. I don't know what's going on there. All I do know is that I'm going to need to break into number 10. What can I do? I'm going to have to distract the police somehow. Ah, I know. There's a building over there. If I tell them I've just seen a teenager with a fully automatic assault crossbow and a zombie knife, I'm sure they'll respond quickly to that one.
Well, that was easier than I thought. Sounds like they're having one of their bring your own booze parties. That's good for me. Let's get this computer unlocked, shall we? Wasn't even locked. Typical. I need to find these files. They are not going to shut down shit. There it is. Alright, I've found it. I've got it. Yes. Right. I'm now going to change the documents so that they're not shutting down shit. To swap number 10's booze budget for shit's booze budget. You never need to buy our own alcohol ever again. I'm just going to scroll through, see what else is on here. Quite a few things on this. Lots of things mention me blowing things up. Let's delete that. Fires, delete. Shootouts in public, delete. Drunk and incapable in public, delete. That's bullshit anyway, I'm never incapable. Right. Hang on. This says that our informant was killed. The government have evidence that our informant was killed, yes. Holy shit. That explains all the stuff that's been happening lately. Hang on, there's a picture here. Shows who
who they suspect killed our informant. But he's dead. Shit, I heard a noise. I better get out of here. Turns out it wasn't diarrhea man, but a diarrhea woman. Either his mum, sister, or maybe he's had a sex change. Who knows? If he's alive. I can't work out what she is. They're not any type of Desmond I've ever seen. Whatever has been going on, it must have been some kind of revenge plot for what happened in the caves. As for the secret conference, it was a complete failure. Nothing was reported other than a mass diarrhea outbreak. Number 10's plans to shut down shit were thwarted, and we'll never need to buy booze ever again. I wonder what happened to that little black sheep who tried to warn me. I hope it's okay. I should have listened. I have one last thing to do. Before I escaped number 10, I pulled all the files, and I now know where Diarrhea Woman is. Stalking out public toilets, making gory holes. Probably why I see that same graffiti in them. I think it's time to go and pay her a visit. This one might be a hard nut to crack, but I have the perfect thing for that.
I was like, you bastard.
have a friend or relative in the Spiroverse you're trying to communicate with? Welcome to Spirocom. It's cheaper than getting your dick chopped off.
Hello, I'm Desmond, and I'll be showing you how to make spirographs. Before we start, I'll be showing you all of the things you will need in some graphics at the bottom of the screen. Let's get started, shall we? You will need some pins to hold down your spirographs. So pin your cogs down wherever you want them. That would be the larger circle cog, and then you can take your smaller cogs, place those in position, and I'm going to start with a red pen. I will also show you some of my other favourite drawings I like to do in between the spirographs. Pick any hole you like, place the pen in, and start to turn it around in a spiral manner. And it doesn't matter if anything goes wrong, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. So there we go. We have completed our first spiral. I'm now going to take a different coloured pen, a different hole, and go again. While you are doing your spirographs, make sure you think about all of the bad things that have been happening to you recently, especially all the bad things you've done. Has your wife burnt your dinner recently? Did the dog or cat shit on the carpet? Something like that. And did you do something about it? Because if you did, those are the types of thoughts we need you to be channeling right now. Before I move on to the next spirograph, I'm going to just draw one of my favourite pictures, and that is of a crinkle cut cock. So any pen, actually let's go with a black pen for this. You need to draw part of the shaft there, and you know, this can be any size you like, and these are quite simple things to draw. And you want to add the crinkle cut part, and while you're drawing these things, think about this happening to you and how it would feel. And the pain and rage you would feel while it was going on. Let's add a little bit of blood to the crinkle cut skin because it's nice and fresh. Maybe even blood coming out of the piss hole there. So let's move on to another cog. Take your pins, pin down your cog, pin it down as you would someone that you were hurting, mutilating. Take a different cog. I'm going to go with black this time. And as I said before, channel all of your fears and all of your anger. Think about all of the people you've hurt, all of the bad things you've done, and that will really help with how the spirograph patterns will turn out. The worst things you've done, you need to think of those. Yes, we'll do lots of little spirals and patterns, getting faster and faster, thinking of all the bad things you've done. I shall now move on to another picture. We'll use a black pen for this. This one shall be a steaming pile of shit that maybe your dog has left, or even someone you know. This is in the middle of your carpet. This has really pissed you off and you've attacked them for this. It could also be the shit that has been ripped out of humans' guts and left steaming on the floor while being tortured. And we're now going to put some stink lines coming off of it, maybe a couple of flies, and just think of the pain and the agony that would be associated with this drawing. So let's change the large cog now and go for something else. So here we go. Let's start with black this time. As black as I hope your soul is. And you just want to get faster and faster, more aggressive as you go. Don't worry if you tear a hole. That is perfection, really. That is what we want. The holes help the drawings. They help the spirals connect to the other worlds, to the nether regions. Let's go with a red here. Think of the blood of your victims and the black and blue bruises that you've given them. Let's now draw some wounds. This is a cut with some blood dripping out of it. That could be across someone's throat, their arm, anywhere you like. If you've ever done this to someone, just think of that right now. Think of the pain they endured and how you created that pain. So we'll go to one final spirograph now. Don't forget to pin down your cogs. Works so much better that way if you do. Pin them down nice and firmly. Make sure when you're doing your spirographs that you have no brooms in the room. They just hinder the process. And as we said, there are no mistakes here, just all happy little accidents. And as you think of your evil thoughts, press harder and harder with the pen, and if it makes a hole in the page, just keep going. It doesn't matter. It is meant to be. Let's go for a red now. And there are so many different variations you can do, but all the while channeling those thoughts of all the bad things you've done, the worst things you've done. Think of all the people you've hurt. Just keep going. Oops, I appear to have ripped a hole in this one. But never mind. If you do see anything start to come out of the hole, just ignore it. Don't leave the room though. Just concentrate on the hole and go with it. So I have been Desmond. I hope you've enjoyed our little demonstration of how to make spirographs. Hopefully I'll see you in the nether regions.
Spirocations. Fly first class on our VIP airline, Crinkle Cut Airways. Enjoy a drink in the bar or go shopping in one of our many malls. You can meet the locals. And if you die on vacation, we'll bury you for free. Spirocations. You'll be dying to get here.
Ah, I knew it. Only once have I ever seen so many Spiroverse books. I was just an ordinary fireman then, not even qualified to use a burn barrel. And it's all mine. These books have nothing to say. All about things that don't exist. The people who read them get scared and can't sleep. Time to burn them. Get rid of them all. Ah, beware the Spiroverse. They didn't like that one. Gave them nightmares. So for everyone's peace of mind, I'll burn them. The only way to be happy is to destroy them. So I must burn the books. All of them.
Shit happens. Jerry sat on his bed and looked around the large room. He could see the others' puzzled expressions as they stared at the walls, which were covered in patterns that had been made using Spirograph sets that were now back in the boxes and piled in the corner. It was strange about those boxes, he thought. Vicky had found them yesterday morning in the large freestanding cupboard at the end of the room. Gerald was sure they hadn't been there when he'd looked in the cupboard a week ago, and he was certain that one of the new arrivals had looked inside it a couple of days ago. If they'd been in there then, surely he would have mentioned it. And how did they get in there anyway? He was certain that neither Mr. Abernathy nor his family would have put them in there either. It was all very strange indeed. All the same, they'd kept the younger kids distracted for most of yesterday. They'd made lots and lots of patterns, trying to make some that they actually liked. But only one pattern came out that looked, well, nice. The others had all been disturbing to look at them. And the weirdest thing was, they all looked the same. They were quickly put back in the boxes, and the boxes were put back in the cupboard. But now all those patterns, apart from the nice one that Vicky had made, were covering 3 of the room's walls. The nice one was in the last wall, the one that had the barred and shuttered windows in it. What made things even stranger was that this time the patterns weren't on paper. They were drawn straight onto the walls themselves. Perhaps it was some part of a nasty joke from Mr. Abernathy. It couldn't have been any of the room's inhabitants, that was for certain. None of them could have reached up that high on the walls. But neither could an adult, not unless they used a step ladder. But then how could they have done that without waking anyone up? It wouldn't have been typical of any one of Mr. Abernathy's family to do such a thing. All the younger children were scared stiff by the pattern's sudden appearance, and he was more than slightly uncomfortable about it too, as was Vicky. Of course, he and Vicky did their best to hide their feelings about the patterns. Both of them were 15, older than the other children in the room. That was, no doubt, why they had yet to be adopted, as Mr. Abernathy called it. If there was one thing Jerry was sure of, it was that this was not a children's care home. Both he and Vicky had run away from care homes, and they were nothing like this. For a start, care homes didn't grab children from the street, as had happened to him and Vicky, or lure them from real care homes. You'd heard of people like Mr. Abernathy and his family. Child traffickers was what they were called. He was certain that's what they were, selling kids to paedophile rings probably. And he had a feeling that he and Vicky hadn't been picked by buyers because they were too old. All the children who had been adopted had been a lot younger. He was worried about Vicky. One of Mr. Abernathy's family, who was married to one of Mr. Abernathy's daughters, called Mr. Bartlett, had been looking at her with a sort of leering, hungry look that Jerry didn't like. There wasn't anything he could do about that, though. With a sigh, he looked up at the clock above the door. The breakfast should arrive soon. That was something to look forward to, he supposed. At least Mr. Abernathy kept them well fed. Then, after breakfast, they'd be taken in pairs to the bathroom to wash and pick up clean clothes. Not that he thought it was out of kindness. It was just that hungry, dirty children wouldn't sell well. With a sad little sigh, he stood up. Glancing round, he quickly found Vicky holding a girl of about 9's hand and trying to comfort her. The girl had been one of those most frightened by the appearance of the Pattons this morning. "Vicky," he called, "we'd better get them lined up. It's nearly breakfast time." Vicky stood up and looked at the clock. "Yeah, it is," she said. "Come on, kids. Let's all get ready for breakfast. You know how Mr. Abernathy likes us to be neatly lined up. If we aren't, he'll get angry." Some of the children looked blankly at her. Poor things. They don't speak a word of English, Vicky thought. But once they saw the others lining up, they'd get the idea and join the line. They'd just got everyone lined up when the door opened, and Mr. Abernathy entered the room, carrying his spaniel puppy in his arms. He was followed by Mr. Bartlett, who was pushing a large trolley containing bowls of porridge and individual cartons of orange juice. Seeing the children nicely lined up, Mr. Abernathy smiled happily. "Good morning, children," he said, beaming happily at them. "Here's your breakfast." But then he noticed the patterns covering the walls, and his expression changed. "What the hell is this?" he shouted. "What have you done to my nice walls? Who told you could do this?" "We didn't do it, Mr. Abernathy," Jerry told him. "We wouldn't dare. They were just there when we woke up. And besides, we could never reach up as high as some of them are. We thought that maybe one of your friends did it to give us a fright, and it did." Mr. Abernathy looked first at Jerry, and then the walls. What the boy had said did make sense. None of them could ever have reached up that high. Mind you, he thought, I'm not sure an adult could have either. He thought about it for a minute, and then came to the conclusion that it couldn't have been the children who had defaced the wall. It had to be one of the adults. "One of the adults, eh? You might be right." "Well, we shall soon see," Mr. Abernathy said, his voice full of menace. He then turned to Mr. Bartlett and said angrily, "Come with me. We'll sort this out now." And with that, he and Mr. Bartlett rushed out of the room, closing and locking the door behind them. A minute later, the sound of angry shouting echoed through the house as Mr. Abernathy and his family got into a row about who had defaced the room's walls. Jerry was thinking that the whole business was just about the strangest thing that had ever happened to him. And something even stranger happened. The pattern by the windows suddenly let out a pulse of silvery white light. More pulses followed, in a rhythm that grew quicker and quicker. This, of course, set the younger children to sobbing and cowering in fear. Jerry and Vicky just stood there, not really believing what they were seeing. It had to be some kind of optical illusion, didn't it? Jerry thought. Finally, in the space of perhaps 30 seconds, the pulses turned into just one almost blinding light. Then the light quickly faded, and to everyone's utter astonishment, a woman stood in its place. Behind her, the pattern had disappeared, and in its place was what they first thought was a picture. A picture 6 feet high and 4 feet wide. It was a scene of picturesque cottages and green fields. You could hear the sounds of a gentle breeze rustling the trees' leaves, and the delicate notes of birdsong. But it can't be a picture, Jerry thought. Pictures don't move, and sounds don't come out of them. It must be some kind of television, but how did a television get into the wall? The woman smiled at him and said, "No, Jerry, it isn't a television, but it's a very nice place to be." Jerry stared at her in surprise. "How do you know my name?" he asked. The woman gave a little chuckle and said, "Knowing people's names is just something I'm very good at." And then she winked at him. "Now, down to business," she said. "If you want to be safe, you should all come with me. Just walk into the, picture, and all will be well. You'll see." Jerry looked at her mistrustfully. "Why should we trust you, whoever you are? You could be some kind of alien, wanting to do experiments on us. I've seen it on the internet." The woman gave a little laugh. "Oh dear, how remiss of me. I forgot to tell you my name, didn't I? It's Ilios. But you can call me Ellie if you like. And I'm not an alien. Now let's get moving. Mr. Abernathy will be back soon." She stopped talking and listened for a few seconds. The sound of shouting and swearing could still be heard. "They're still arguing, it seems, but I don't suppose they'll be at it for much longer. Please, children, let's go before he gets back." Then she sighed. One of my sisters is on her way too, and you don't want to be here when she arrives. Is she a bad person then? Vicky asked. Bad person? No. I don't think you could call her a bad person, Elias said. She is, however, very harsh with, now what was the term I heard from her? Oh, yes, that was it. Wrongdoers. Mr. Abernathy and his friends are wrongdoers, Vicky said firmly. Will she be harsh with them? Yes, child, I'm afraid she will be, Elias told her. That's why we should leave quickly. Things will get very unpleasant, and you don't want to see that. Some of the younger children had already started to move towards Elias, when the door to the room was suddenly flung open and Mr. Abernathy and his family burst into the room. I've checked with everyone, and they're adamant it wasn't one of them, and they all have alibis that have checked out, Mr. Abernathy bellowed. So it must have been one of you little sods that... His tirade stopped in mid-flow as he caught sight of Elias. And who the fuck are you? He shouted. And how did you get in here? Elias smiled and said, No need to shout. I'm not far away. How did I get in? Quite easily, as it happened. As for who I am, I'm Elias, the personification of mercy, compassion, and pity. And these children are under my protection. Harm them at your peril. Mr. Abernathy looked at her for a moment, then laughed. You're a mad bitch, that's who you are. He motioned to Mr. Bartlett. She's just a nutter. You deal with her. We'll get rid of the body later. Mr. Bartlett grinned and left the room. He's gone to get a couple of things, Mr. Abernathy said. When he gets back, well, let's just say, do you know any prayers? Mr. Abernathy looked confused. You've heard of Pew? What do you mean you've... His voice petered out as Mr. Bartlett returned carrying a large and rather bulky-looking crossbow and a blanket. Mr. Bartlett dropped the blanket. Then he reached under the crossbow and operated the cocking lever, readying the crossbow for action. Then he raised the weapon to his shoulder and aimed it at Elias. Say your prayers, you mad bitch. Elias merely made a small gesture with one of her fingers, smiled again and said, I wouldn't point that thing at me if I were you. 1, it won't do you any good. And 2, my sister really won't like it. For a moment Mr. Bartlett stared at her in surprise. Then he remembered she was a nutter. Your sister won't like it, eh? He said with a sneer. Would you know what I say to that? Fuck your sister. Oh dear. You really shouldn't have said that, you know. But if you put her away and be nice, I might be able to... Her voice trailed off as Mr. Bartlett squeezed the trigger. Nothing happened. I told you it wouldn't do you any good, Elias said calmly. Now you've made things even worse. Mr. Bartlett looked at his crossbow in amazement. What the hell? He said angrily and somewhat confused. What's wrong with the bloody thing? It can't be the safety. I removed that. Perhaps a good whack will fix it. So saying, he gave the crossbow a hard slap. Once more nothing happened. Elias sighed. I'm afraid you're wasting your time. Muttering obscenities under his breath, Mr. Bartlett shook the thing. Finding that didn't work either, he emptied its magazines and inspected the bolts carefully. A heavy sigh and a comment of, when you're ready, from Mr. Abernathy finally did it. With a yell of, the fucking thing's broken, and I paid a lot of money for the sodding thing too. Mr. Bartlett lost his temper, threw the crossbow to the floor, and hurled the bolts away from him in a wide arc. Most of them nearly hit one of the boys, but one hit an 8-year-old called Lenny. Lenny felt something hit his leg and looked down to see a widening patch of blood soaking through his jeans. He screamed and then promptly fainted. Frightened by the sudden loud noise, the spaniel puppy in Mr. Abernathy's arms suddenly started struggling and fell from Mr. Abernathy's grasp. Montgomery! Come back here! Mr. Abernathy yelled as the dog ran off and squeezed himself under the cupboard. For a second, Elias stared at the wounded child. Then a scream of anguish mixed with rage burst from her lips, and she turned back to glare at Mr. Bartlett. I told you not to hurt any of them, she said, her voice shaking with anger. Mr. Bartlett laughed. So you did. I didn't mean to hit the child, but I can't sound too bothered about it. Or you either. Besides, what do you think you can do about it? Punishment is my sister's job, Elias told him. I forgive you, of course, but she certainly will not. Your sister will punish me, will she? Yeah, right, Mr. Bartlett said, and then he laughed again. You think I'm going to be scared of your sister? Give me a break. There was a sudden, dazzling flash of light, and when their sight finally returned, they saw that the woman had changed. Her modern clothes had disappeared, and in their place she wore a long white tunic. That was surprising enough, but it was the pair of white wings that spread out from her back that really shook her. Elios's eyes glowed blue, and she looked. "Give you a break," he said. "Very well, but I'm generous. I'll give you more than one." She raised her hand, pointed at Mr. Bartlett, and snapped her fingers. For a second, Mr. Bartlett looked surprised. Then, as bulges appeared all over him, he screamed in agony. There was an unpleasant crack of bones breaking, and the sound of tearing flesh as nearly every bone in his body simultaneously broke several times, leaving a picture of horror. Pieces of bloody bone with scraps of torn flesh dangling from them protruded from his entire body, making him resemble a human-shaped pufferfish. Mr. Bartlett's scream turned into a horrid dying gurgle as he collapsed onto the floor in a twitching pile, under which a pool of blood slowly began to form. The only clues that this thing had once been a human being were the shapeless remnants of his arms and legs, and his distorted and torn face, with a pair of eyes staring sightlessly from the quivering palms of flesh and protruding bone. For several seconds, what had been Mr. Bartlett continued to quiver. Then it gave one last heaving movement before finally going still. As Jerry and Vicky stood staring at the hideous sight, with horror written across their faces, the rest of the children began to scream in terror. "Oh no! We got carried away and forgot they were still here," Elias said with a tone of regret. She looked at Mr. Abernathy and the rest of his family. "Excuse me while I deal with this, will you?" she said pleasantly. "It won't take a moment." Then she turned to look at the terrified children and waved her hand. The children immediately went quiet, and they looked calm appeared on their faces. "That will do it for now," Elias said. "I'll have to do some more, of course, but that can wait until we get back to my room." Then she suddenly noticed something. The light in the room was changing and taking on a greenish tinge, and little red flashes seemed to dance in the air. Keeping her voice calm, Elias tried to hurry the children along. "Come on, we really should leave now," she told them. "I believe my sister is about to arrive." The children increased their pace slowly as they filed past her to step into the portal. One of the children, a little girl of around 6 years old, stopped and looked up into her face. Then she pointed at the white wings. "Are you—" She paused for a second, trying to remember the right word. "Are you an angle?" For a couple of seconds Elias was confused. "An angle?" she muttered, and then she smiled. "Oh, you mean an angel, don't you?" "No, child, I'm not an angel. I'll tell you all about it later. Now hurry along and join your friends. We have to be quick now and leave." Slowly Jerry walked over to stand beside her. "You said you were the personification of mercy." He then pointed at the horror on the carpet. "So much for mercy." Elias smiled sadly. "If you had the slightest idea of what my sister would have done to him, you'd realize that was mercy," she told him. "Now please hurry. As I've said before, you don't want to see what happens next, dear." Another voice added, "No, you don't, boy. Do as Elias says and leave quick. I won't wait forever." Jerry looked at the new speaker. She had what was obviously a family resemblance with Elias, but where Elias was fair-haired, wore white and had white wings, her sister had black hair, wore red, and had wings that looked like they'd come off a huge raven. He shuddered involuntarily. Whereas Elias exuded a calm kindness, her sister seemed to radiate suppressed rage, an extremely violent suppressed rage. The woman looked at him and smiled grimly. "I expect you're wondering who I am," she said. "I am Nemesis. I am the goddess of revenge and retribution. Remember me if you're ever tempted to wickedness when you are older. If you behave well, we shall never meet again. On the other hand, if you become wicked—" She paused before continuing. "Let us just say you definitely don't want to meet me again." Then she gave him a hard stare. Jerry felt that stare. It was as if those green eyes bored straight into him and laid his very soul bare. His face turned white, and once again he shuddered. "Oh, look what you've done, Nemi," Elias exclaimed with an annoyed tone. "You've frightened him, and he's only young." "It's better to prevent things than having to deal with them later on," Nemesis told her. "And don't call me Nemi." Then she pointed to the remains of Mr. Bartlett. "Now what did you mean by doing that?" she asked. "You know he belonged to me." Elias shook her head. "No, he didn't. I had the children under my protection. It was wonderful. but he ignored it and paid the price. Nemesis thought for a second or two. Fair enough, she admitted. And you did do a good job on him, I have to say. Now hurry up and get those children out of here so I can get on with my job. Elias nodded. I'll hurry them along, she told her sister, and she walked over to Lenny and picked them up. Come on, children, let's go quickly now. Whilst all this had been going on, the Abani family had first been looking with terrified eyes at the two goddesses. Then, still keeping their eyes on them, had begun to back away toward the open door. Without even turning to look at them, Nemesis murmured, No, I don't think so. You're staying here. From behind them they heard the door slam shut. At this, Mr. Abernathy and his two sons started to advance toward Nemesis. They didn't know what they could do to her, but they had to try something. Behind them, the rest of the family started to wail in fear. Oh, stand still, you fools! Nemesis said irritably, giving a flick of her wrist in their direction. I'll get to you soon enough. To their horror, the three men found themselves unable to move, whereupon they joined in with their family's terrified wailing. As quickly as she could, Elias ushered the children through the portal. The last one to leave was Jerry, who stopped for a few seconds before entering and turned toward Nemesis. Elias said that you're harsh with wrongdoers, he told her. Does that mean you'll be harsh with Mr. Abernathy and his family? Nemesis looked back at him, with a grim smile on her lips. Yes, boy, I shall be. And with Mr. Abernathy himself, I shall be very harsh. Jerry nodded in satisfaction. Good, he said, and then stepped through the portal. Nemesis waited until the portal closed, then turned to gaze at the Abernathy family. Now, what shall I do with you? She mused. The idea came to her, and she called out, You can send them through now, Sir Swirly Whirly. The Abernathy family stopped wailing and stared in shock as a huge, whirling swarm of disc-like objects flew from the spirograph patterns adorning the walls to hover just in front of them. Nemesis pointed at Mr. Abernathy. He's the only one I really want, she said. Take him. As for the others, destroy them and make it messy. She gave an amused grin. It will give the shit lot something to get excited about. She was about to enter her own portal when a thought occurred to her. And I want to leave a message. Quickly she told them what she wanted, and once again moved towards her portal. Then another thought came into her mind. And don't forget that any foreskins that you collect are to go to the communal store. So Swirly Whirly will be checking, so don't try anything. Then she stepped into her portal and was gone. Behind her, the buzzing sound got louder. Mr. Abernathy howled in fear and pain as one of the disc swarms closed in around him and dug their spikes into his flesh. Before he was carried through Nemesis's portal, he heard the whirling sounds get even louder, followed by the screams of his family. Underneath the cupboard, Montgomery the puppy watched and whimpered in fear as the Spiros did their work. Mr. Abernathy woke to find himself standing naked and upright and illuminated by a bright light. Outside of this light there was nothing but an inky blackness. He tried to move, but he found he couldn't move any part of his body apart from his head. Thoughts raced through his brain. Where was he? What was happening? And most importantly, where were those two terrible women? Then a voice spoke. It was a strange voice, calm-sounding but a bit mechanical, and it sounded more than a bit scary. Good, it said. You are awake. Then it asked, Can I just check? Is your name Edgar Abernathy? Mr. Abernathy nodded warily. Splendid, the voice said happily. I like to check on these things. We discovered not long ago that human names can be tricky sometimes, and to be honest, you all look much the same to us. Anyway, now that that is all sorted, we shall begin. Begin? Begin what? Mr. Abernathy asked fearfully. Your punishment, of course, the voice told him. Mr. Abernathy laughed. I hope it's a comfy cell, he said, grinning. How long am I in for? 10 years at most, I expect, and I'll be out in 5. For a few seconds there was silence. Then the voice started to laugh. It wasn't a nice laugh. After about 30 seconds, the laughing stopped, and the voice spoke again, sounding highly amused. Cell? 10 years now in 5? Oh, you are very much mistaken about that, Edgar. There was another pause, then the voice spoke again. Enough of this stupidity. Let the punishment begin. Don't call me Edgar. Mr. Abernathy yelled angrily. I hate that name. Not even my own family call me Edgar. You certainly can't. Then he noticed a swarm of silvery discs moving toward him. As they got nearer, they spread out. They moved quickly to hover a couple of inches away, to surround his body, leaving only his head poking out. What the bloody hell is this all about? Mr. Abernathy wondered. What are these stupid things supposed to be for? He soon found out. The discs began to spin, slowly at first, but then quickly increasing their speed. As they spun, they began to heat up. At first, Mr. Abernathy didn't notice, but as the discs spun faster and faster, he began to notice a slight warmth emanating from them. At first, it was quite pleasant, but the heat continued to grow. After a couple of minutes, Mr. Abernathy began to feel uncomfortable, and by the time another couple of minutes had passed, he felt like he was in an oven. What's going on? He yelled. Why is it so bloody hot? He got no answer. The discs were now glowing red, but still they continued to spin faster. When they got to a pale red in colour, the heat was beginning to become unbearable, and Mr. Abernathy started to panic. It's too hot! Stop it, you bastard! Stop it! He yelled. Once again there was no answer. The heat continued to rise, and Mr. Abernathy could feel huge blisters forming over his body. The pain was getting worse and worse, and he started to scream. The discs continued to increase the speed of their spin and started to turn white with heat. Mr. Abernathy screamed even louder as he felt his blisters pop. Still hotter grew the discs. Mr. Abernathy's skin started to turn black and slowly fall from his body, the underlying fat beginning to sizzle like a steak under a grill and pour in torrents down his body to fall away onto the light beneath his feet with a soft splashing sound. As his body temperature reached 100 degrees Celsius, Mr. Abernathy's blood began to boil. The blood cells were bursting, flowing into his body cavities. The agony was terrible, and Mr. Abernathy gave one last scream before his brain, half-cooked and deprived of oxygenated blood, finally gave up the ghost and his mind spiraled into darkness.
You know me, it's frightening how many Spiroverse books I've published. And here they are, all 4 of them. Get them now from all good Amazon stores.
From WC and Z90, we introduce the Tales from the Spiroverse. If you only buy one Spyro book, buy these, which is all of them.
To order, just click the links in the description. Greetings, watchers. Quickly, to your places. The fun is about to start. Enter, stranger. And who are you? I am Jonathan, brand new Spyro Hunting and Intel member. And who is your guide? Mike, head shit operative. Have you got any more vodka? This was virtually full when we started. Here is your knapsack. You can carry 3 items at a time. And here is your mask, made from crinkle cut foreskins. From now on, your advisors will be your eyes. Guide him well. Where am I? You're in a cave system, same place me and DC Hadafew went to. You are in a long corridor.
walk forward. Where am I? You are in a room with a table with multiple items on. There is a VHS cassette tape, some confidential documents, crinkle cut cuisine menu, Spiroverse book, a crinkle cut cock blocker, and a flask. What should I take? Take the flask and the crinkle cut cuisine menu. Don't bother with anything else. I need a drink. Can you get me some more booze, please? Fucking hell. It's gonna be run out soon. Where am I? You are now in another corridor. Take 2 side steps to your right. Where am I? You are now in what appears to be some toilets, and that's a gory hole. Shame you haven't got a crinkle cut cock blocker on you. Anyway, are you not ever going to get me this booze? This bloody bottle's nearly empty. What am I going to do when that runs out? Come on, fucking hell. Get it now, come on. Hurry up. I want my booze. This one is nearly run out. Oh shit. Bit of a fuck up really, isn't it? Even a spirograph can be dangerous if you don't take care. Criminals shouldn't do spirographs. The Spiroverse Nether Regions love an evildoer. Make sure your cock doesn't end up like this. Today we are talking about crinkle cut cock blockers. If you've ever wanted to do a spirograph and been scared that you may receive crinkle cut cock, we have the ideal solution for you. So whether you're hung like an acorn or like a donkey, or have a penis the shape of a pencil, we can help you out. You will be fully protected from any Spiroverse demons trying to give you crinkle cut cock. We have extra small crinkle cut cock blockers. Doesn't matter how big you are, those demons will always want to take your foreskin or the rest. Moving on to the small size, everybody can be covered. This is the pencil prick size for those with the extra thin shaft. Openings both end so that you can actually go to the toilets while wearing it. The next model is for the man who has a penis the shape of a cigar. Open at both ends again so that you can piss at your leisure and never ever be fearful of cock ever again. This is what I call the normal size, could be large for some people. Open at both ends again. Perfect. And the final version we have today is the donkey dick sized one. Offers full 100% protection from any Spyro demons trying to take your foreskin or worse. Prices range from £50 to £500 depending on what size you buy. Absolutely no returns are accepted. These are, however, 100% guaranteed to stop crinkle cut cock or worse. Get yours now. Don't worry about the cost, you can always pay in instalments.
Detective Inspector Harry Walker slowly stood up, after being careful not to get any of the bacon, eggs, mushrooms and toasted just thrown up over his trousers. To his left he could hear D.S. Stokes still divesting himself of his own breakfast. P.C. Pickard had remained standing by the front door, a large pile of vomit by his feet. Walker noticed with distaste that the constable had dry vomit on his boots, though, to be fair, he couldn't really blame the fellow, not after he'd seen what he himself had seen in that room. Just then his phone rang, and he pulled it from his pocket and answered it. For perhaps a minute he listened to the voice on the other end, his face showing surprise. He curtly answered, "I see. Yes, sir, every assistance." Then he hung up and put the phone back in his pocket with a look of confusion on his face. By now, Stokes had finished throwing up and was getting to his feet. He saw Inspector Walker's expression and walked unsteadily over to him. "What is it, sir?" he asked. "What?" Walker stopped him in mid-sentence with a wave of his hand. "I've just been told that we are to be blessed with the presence of a pair of shits who will take over the investigation, and we are to follow their instructions and give them whatever assistance they request." Just then, a small blue car pulled into the gravel drive and came to a halt. The driver and passenger doors opened and the occupant stepped out. One was a rather short and beefy-looking fellow with a shaven head and goatee beard. He was wearing black trousers and shirt with a black Abercrombie overcoat. The other one was a ginger-haired woman wearing a black dress with some kind of animal skin draped over her shoulders and a strange-looking amulet that hung around her neck. Which was strange enough, but she also wore a mask adorned with black feathers. From beside him, Walker heard Stoker mutter, "Bloody hell, a dwarf and some kind of dark woodland spirit. What the fuck is this, Lord of the Rings?" Walker stifled a laugh and stepped forward, holding out his hand. "I am Detective Inspector Walker. The young fellow behind me is Detective Sergeant Bowen. And you are—" "We're from the Spyro Hunting and Intel team," the man in the Abercrombie told him, ignoring the proffered hand. Then he drew an identification badge from his pocket, showing it to Walker. Walker looked at it for a couple of seconds. It doesn't have your name on it," he said. "Why doesn't—" The man in the Abercrombie interrupted him. "You don't need to know my name," he said firmly. "Let's get on with this. Show us what you found." Walker didn't want to go back into the house, much less into that room again. But he took a deep breath, let it out slowly, and said, "Fine, follow me." He walked back into the house and led them to the horrible room. He noticed that D.S. Stokes was hanging back, Wait outside, lad, he said kindly. No need for you to see this again. Stokes smiled back at him gratefully and went back outside. As soon as he stepped into the room, Walker immediately felt bile rise in his throat once again, but he quickly swallowed it, determined not to show any weakness in front of the strange shit operatives. Well, here it is, he said, keeping his voice as matter-of-fact as he could. The Abercrombie man didn't reply. He just stepped past Walker and inspected the room. The walls were splattered with copious amounts of semi-congealed blood, and pieces of flayed skin clung to the dark red mess. The floor was also covered in semi-congealed blood, and there were also large chunks of flesh and clothing that made it look like a large gang of people had attacked their victims with circular saws. This is a bit different. They don't usually make this much mess, the Abercrombie man said conversationally. In fact, often they don't make any. You don't? Walker asked. You don't need to know that, the Abercrombie man answered. Walker was protesting that he should be informed of any important information as to the perpetrators of the crime, when the Abercrombie man interrupted him by pointing at the remains of Mr. Bartlett and saying, "Fucking horrible, that, isn't it?" Trying desperately to keep his stomach under control, Walker could only manage a weak "Yes," in reply. The Abercrombie man gave him an odd look and continued, "Not the same as the others, though. I wonder why." "I don't know," was all Walker could manage to get out. The Abercrombie man sighed and said, "If you're going to chuck up, make sure you aim it well away from me." Then he turned his gaze onto the rest of the room. Walker looked away from the hideous pile with relief. It was then he noticed the Abercrombie man's female companion. She was wandering amongst the remains of the rest of the Abernathy family and poking around with an extended baton. I bet she got that off Pickard, Walker thought to himself. But why was she doing that, he wondered. Turning back to the Abercrombie man, he said, "What is your partner doing over there?" "Checking for C.C.Cs. For some reason she's very good at it," the Abercrombie man replied. "C.C.Cs? What are those?" Walker asked. "Crinkle-cut cocks," was the reply. "Crinkle-cut." Walker managed to get out before his stomach gave a heave, and he fled the room with his hands clamped over his mouth. The Abercrombie man sighed again, and then turned his attention to the rest of the room. I noticed that on one wall, amongst all the pieces of paper with bad serrated holes in the middle, there were 2 straight lines of complete spirograph patterns. They looked like they were placed to form letters and words, but if so, they were in no language he knew. Taking out his phone, he took the photographs. "Wonder what the fuck those are about," he wondered, and then called to his companion. "Hey, had a few. Any news of the cleaners yet?" "They should be here any time. They were called the same time as us, I checked." "Good," the Abercrombie man replied. "Well, they'll have their work cut out for them with this job, that's for certain. I think I'll go and wait up for them outside." Under the cupboard, Montgomery heard Hadafew's voice, and he remembered that human females had always been nice to calling him a good boy, and giving him a treat, and comforting him if he got frightened. And right now, Montgomery was frightened. So he started to crawl from under the cupboard and rushed towards him, expecting Hadafew to pick him up and comfort him. Unfortunately, things did not go quite as he had expected. Hearing the sound of Montgomery's paws coming towards her, Hadafew turned around to see a Goa-covered shape running towards her with its mouth open and showing gleaming teeth. Taken by surprise, she gave a loud shriek of, "It's a demon!" and lashed out with her foot. Luckily for Montgomery, Hadafew mistimed her kick. Montgomery felt her boot scoop him up a couple of inches into the air. He gave a loud yelp as he landed, more out of shock than pain, and scrambled to stand upright. Hadafew gave a cry of, "Oh, it's just a puppy!" And then she crouched down and cajolingly said, "I'm sorry, puppy. Come here. You'll be all right." Montgomery, however, was having none of it. The kick had stung, and he could see that Hadafew was wearing something strange on her face that he didn't much like the look of. He backed away, growling. The Abercrombie man stood half-turned in the doorway with a chrome-plated large-caliber Colt revolver in his hand pointed at Montgomery. "For fuck's sake, that was close. I nearly shot the poor thing," he said. He walked back into the room and grabbed Montgomery, who had stopped growling and was staring at Hadafew with great distrust. He noticed the tag on Montgomery's collar. It had a fair bit of blood on it, but he could make out the name. "Montgomery, so that's your name, is it?" he said. "Well, I bet your new owners won't call you that. Or maybe they'll just shorten it. Who knows? I just hope you get a good home." After he'd cleaned Montgomery, from one of the house's bathrooms using the shower, not an easy task, and towelled him as dry as he could. He carried him outside and placed him in the back of the car. Just as he did so, several large vans pulled into the driveway. A tall man got out and walked over to him, holding an identification badge. "We were called," the man stated. The Abercrombie man looked at the card and checked the man's photograph, then nodded. "Okay," he said. "It's in there. You've got one hell of a job, though, I can tell you." "Messy, is it?" the man asked. "Worst I've seen," the Abercrombie man told him. "You'll need shovels." "We better get on with it, then," the man told him, and then turned toward the vans. "Right, lads, let's go and see what we have to deal with." "Turn left as you go in, and then it's first on the right," the Abercrombie man told him, then walked over to Detective Inspector Walker, who was stood staring at the house and shaking his head. "God knows what I'll put in my report," he said as the Abercrombie man reached him. "I can tell you one thing you won't put in your report," the Abercrombie man said. "You won't mention the sliced and diced body parts everywhere." "But," Walker said, his sentence was interrupted by the Abercrombie man. "You will have to sign a piece of paper when you get back to the station. I expect your report will just say the room was splashed with blood, but no bodies were found, and something along the lines of it being suspected of being drugs-related, whether you like it or not." Walker was about to say something else, but Abercrombie man just turned away from him and walked back to the car, where Agent Hadfield, having finished her search, was waiting for him. "Find any?" he asked as he got in the passenger seat. "Yep, everyone I found was crinkle cut," was the reply. "I thought they might be," Abercrombie man said with a sigh. "Oh well, could you drop me off at my place?" Then he brightened up a bit. "What'd you say to stopping off at an off-licence on our way?" "Oh, yes, please," Hadfield said happily. "I love getting pissed." Walker watched as the small blue car reversed out of the drive and headed down the lane. "Dear God, I hope I never meet those two again. They give me the creeps," he thought to himself. Then he turned back towards Detective Sergeant Stokes and P.C. Pickard. "Come on, lads," he said wearily. "Let's get back to the station. Oh, and Pickard, clean that puke off your boots." Epilogue. The Abercrombie man sat in his office staring at his computer. "Well?" he demanded. "What did they say?" There was a moment of silence. Then a man's face appeared on the screen. The man looked a bit nervous. "Well, we managed to translate them. They're ancient Greek, which is peculiar. I don't care if they're bloody Venetian." "What do they say?" Abercrombie man said impatiently. "The top line says, 'Beware the others.' Any idea what that means?" The Abercrombie man shook his head. "Not the slightest, no. What about the bottom line?" The man on the screen suddenly looked even more nervous. "I wouldn't bother about that. It doesn't really say anything important. It might help the investigation." "I'll decide that," the Abercrombie man said. "Tell me what they say." The man started to look very nervous and then blurted out, "They say, 'P.S. Shit stinks,'" and then the screen suddenly went blank. There was a moment of silence. Then the Abercrombie man's bellow of rage echoed throughout the building. Nemesis gave Sir Swirly-Whirly a hard stare and asked, "Now then, who came up with the idea of the P.S.? Mr. Swirly-Whirly looked a bit shifty, or at least as shifty as you could look with a face like his. Well," he said. "Well, it was like this, you see." "It was you, wasn't it?" Nemesis was trying to sound angry, but she couldn't manage it. Her face broke into a grin and she laughed. "Don't worry, I'm not angry. In fact, I wish I'd thought of it myself. But next time you have any ideas of that kind, you should ask first." Then she laughed again. "Did you hear him shout? As for Montgomery, well, he had a bit of a false start, shall we say. But he has now found a good home. Although there is one member of his new family who's been known to torment him with tasty treats dangling on a piece of string just beyond his reach. However, things are pretty good for Montgomery, although he's now terrified of spirographs and has a great dislike and mistrust of anyone wearing a mask. Mr. Abernathy woke once again and moaned in despair. Not only was he going to be burned again, but for the last few punishments they'd added a song into his mind. A very unpleasant song that was sung to the tune of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The song went like this. Edgar's gonna shout, Edgar's gonna cry, Edgar's gonna scream, we're telling you why. Edgar's in the Spiroverse now, Edgar's in the Spiroverse now, Edgar's in the Spiroverse now. And Mr. Edgar Abernathy moaned once again as the discs drew closer to him and began to spin. for he knew it was his fate to be both slowly cooked alive and have that horrible song containing that hated name echoing in his head for ever and ever. Note: why the Spiros collect human foreskins. It must be noted that the Spiros do not eat in the same way as, for instance, humans do. Instead, they get their nutrients by absorbing molecules of matter using a form of osmosis. They discovered early on, whilst working for Nemesis, that human foreskin molecules had an interesting effect on them. These molecules, to put it plainly, got them drunk. The amount of molecules required to do this does, of course, depend on the size of the Spiro. However, it does not take many foreskin molecules to do the job. After this caused a regrettable instance of mass inebriation, which resulted in quite a few regrettable occurrences, Nemesis had all the collected foreskins put in a communal store and rationed them. The Spiros are allowed to get, in colloquial terms, pissed as a fart once a week. This is done on a rota basis. It must be noted that only healthy foreskins have this effect. Unhealthy ones will make them feel very unwell. This has led to the unhealthy ones being ejected from the Spiroverse in a spray. Unfortunately, this has led to some unfortunate people who, when playing with Spirographs, suddenly get a large jet of diseased foreskins flying out of the pattern they are making and catching them full in the face, and worse still, some of them may even go in their mouth. Of course, this is rarely, if ever, reported, as 1. Those affected don't think anyone will believe them, and 2. They would rather no one knew about it anyway.
Become part of the ship fleet.
To the shipmobile!
Faster. Sexier. Stronger. Better brakes. Safer. Cooler. Drive better. Become the shit you deserve to be.
Monty always has your back. He'll remind you to protect your sack. Buy your safety broomstick attachment from all good stockists now. And don't forget there's the retractable version. Please follow the instructions. Makers cannot be held responsible for accidents from misuse.
People of YouTube, I'm here to speak to you about a subject of considerable gravity. A subject that affects each and every one of us. I refer to, of course, our great failure to stop all Spyro demons. The Spyro Hunting and Intelligence team is here to unite our great community in stopping all Spyro demon activity. There comes a time where everyone has to do their duty, and I'm here because your community needs you to join the Spyro Hunting and Intelligence team. Whether you become a fully fledged member of the Spyro Hunting and Intel team like Timbo, DC had a few, or become part of the Shitmobile fleet just like Jim M, DC had a few. Sign up is extremely easy. There's a link below in the description. Just go there, get yourself your Spyro Hunting and Intel team ID or Shitmobile badge. And don't forget, our community needs you.
That's the funnest place to be. What the fuck is this? You want me to do some kind of press conference to explain my actions? Something to do with the fires and the explosions? Government trying to shut down shit? Well, they can fuck right off with that. That ain't gonna happen. Guess I'd better get prepared.
This fucking stinks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike. I'm here on behalf of the Spyro Hunting and Intelligence team to discuss allegations of crimes that S.H.I.T has committed, and also to answer any questions on the discussed closure of Spyro Hunting and Intel team. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking your questions and I'll answer them as
This is
honestly as I
England.
can.
We have gun laws here.
Now this is a
Why does your
private
shit need a
press
gun?
conference, so it is just myself and
The smell of
you
this shit
reporters.
is most unacceptable.
And depending on the outcome of this conference, S.H.I.T may be or may not be shut
We
down.
love shit. We
There's
love
plenty of
shit.
drinks for everyone, so help yourself to the beverages, and I hope you enjoy them. Right. It appears that some of the questions will be coming in from overseas. Those questions will be broadcast on the big screen over there.
Dick Hassel, Tennessee Institute of Technology. What is this shit? I mean, every day I see it, I've got shit on my fucking phone.
Shit killed. Why does
I've
shit
got
kill
shit
people?
on my television. Every time my morning routine, I've got shit on my newspaper. What is this?
The only thing I can say, Dick, is it's good shit. Okay, we'll go over to the reporter on the big screen there. Well, he looks like he's in a shitter.
Recent evidence suggests that shit could be fingered in a number of crimes. Does this concern you?
Well, all I can say is, you say crimes, it depends what country you're in.
What is shit scared
Is
of?
it true that the government are trying to run a shit smear campaign?
You know what? I do believe they are. Hopefully, we can stop it today. Let's have a question from our Indian friend over there.
There are allegations that the most shit mission seem to be ending in a large mess, requiring massive amounts of cleanup. Could this be wiped clean?
Well, I don't know about wiped clean. I like to sort of just shove it under the rug, personally. Let's have a question from Laurie Burns and Q.
Is it true that some in the British government are now standing up for shit?
Well, apparently they are now. Next question will be from Mason Adams.
What are the biggest obstacles to shit moving forward?
Well, government are definitely trying to make it difficult, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
Why can't shit operate?
Right, let's have a question from the big bloke in the background there. One with a sawn-off shotgun and a fishing rod.
Howdy, this is Raoul Moore to Fishing Weekly. What is the benefit of working with shit in your eyes?
You certainly can't live without shit. You need us,
You
really.
and your organisation are full of
Right,
it.
another question from the man on the front row there. Yeah, the one with the pink t-shirt on.
Does shit really stink?
What is the consistency of shit? Easy to maintain or a lot of turnover?
Well, we try our hardest. Things are running smoothly now.
Man, this shit's corny as
Right,
hell.
let's have a question from Bobby Thompson, is it?
Yeah, howdy, Bobby Thompson, Newcastle Chronicle. Is it true that your organisation is starting a new transport company called Shit Strains?
We certainly are.
This shit's
The head
corny as
operative running
hell.
that will be our good friend, Richard Strains. Oh, it looks like we've got a phone call coming in with a question. Okay, go ahead.
This shit's on a roll.
Yeah, just calling in because I think I recognise the guy there sitting there who's like the representative of shit. I just want you to know, I've always respected you.
Well, I've never been fond of you. When I was younger, I could have taken you any time. Let's have a question from Chris Lemmers.
Does shit have swimming training so they can drop their kids off at the pool?
Well, I don't have kids, and I can't swim.
Diarrhea squirt.
Okay, we'll go over to the reporter on the big screen there.
Has the government's slow and steady pressure made an impact to the process of shit?
They've tried to, but we're still going at it thick and fast. Well, apparently we've got a phone call coming through.
Now, stop this
Go
shit
ahead.
and put a
Yes,
plug
hello.
in it.
Right. It's about what's been going on with fires connected to this organisation you're looking at. A couple of months ago, me and the missus decided to have a little break. Collected all coupons out back of paper, yeah? Down, get a bungalow down at Skeggy. I don't mind saying, at my age, need a little bit of help. So I sent off for some of them dick pills out back at magazine. Anyway, I tracked it. They're at the depot. Next thing I know, fucking thing's burned down. Is that the fella sitting there who's responsible for this? If so, let's have his address. I'm due some fucking compensation.
Look, that had nothing to do with me.
Stop this shit and put a
I
plug
will
in
say
it.
no comment. Oh, apparently we've got another phone call coming through.
Oh yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
through. Hello. Yeah, I got a question. What? Mate, I am live. I'm live. I got through. Fuck's sake. Anyway, I got a question, like. Did I not say I was on the fucking phone? Listen, I'm gonna call you back, yeah?
Call back a bit later, mate. I'm sure you'll get through. Right, let's have a question from the elderly man. Yeah, the bald one there, that's it.
What happens if one of you goes rogue? You employ your shit catchers.
I can assure you, none of us ever go rogue.
Fucking stank.
An EMP device and some memory loss serum. That should sort those bastards out. I'll just turn the EMP on when the conference starts and no recordings will be able to be made. And the memory loss serum can go in their drinks. Talking of drinks, I'm going to put some laxatives in there as well. That'll teach those bastards to mess with shit.
Your Spyro mission today is to go undercover to stop the government from shutting down the Spyro hunting and intelligence team. Find the source of the liquidation request and stop it immediately. DC had a few will be on a separate secret mission and cannot help you this time. You will however be aided in this mission by a secret government informant known only as Jonathak. They will be contacting you via your phone and will be using a voice changer as a disguise. Jonathak is here to help us find out who requested us to be shut down and enable you to stop it or take the culprit out permanently. Good job on sabotaging the secret press conference. None of the journalists attending managed to record a thing, and the memory loss serum and laxatives worked a treat. Also well done on not just blowing the place up or locking the doors and burning it to the ground like you usually do. Your mission commences now. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hello, this is your informant Jonathak. I will be aiding you in your mission to prevent the closure of the Spyro hunting and intelligence team. I will be passing on details of where to go and what to do. Your first location is a local restaurant. Find the evidence to discover who and why they're trying to close shit down. Let the information sink in and everything will pan out just right. I will text you the coordinates now.
All day boozy breakfast. Don't mind if I do. Sounds like a good place to me. God, fucking hell, stinks in here. Who'd he had cooking anything in here? Where's the booze? I haven't had a drink in 10 minutes. What am I looking for? Hang on, what's that? There's something in that sink.
Fuck am I? Ugh. Ugh. Why am I in a field? Oh, hang on. Oh no. Ah, fuck. Still there, still intact. Whew. That won't get me. Hello?
It's Jonathak. What happened to you? You appear to have failed to recover the evidence from the restaurant. My sources say the next location is a cabin in the woods. You will need to travel across some fields to get there. Don't be sheepish, there's not a conspiracy out to get you. I'll send you the coordinates now.
Guess I better find this cabin then. What way? What a gay day. What an absolute lovely gay day. Why does I hear a sheep talk?
The sky is a projection.
Oh, food is poison. Moonland in your face.
Are they talking?
God will save us.
Loves us.
Yeah, that little one.
Oh, the booze is poison. Oh, the booze is poison.
What the fuck?
Get him!
Fucking hell. Go away. Don't fuck for fences. Now, where have I got to go?
Samurai Bird with Bird Jr. with a live version of my new song called I Fell 10 Feet on My Head. Enjoy.
I was playing with my Spirograph. I used to do it for a laugh. I never thought some demons would arrive. I played for fun with my kids. Went to work the next day I did. Fell 10 feet, I'm lucky to be alive. Spiroverse, Spirograph. Danger don't add up, I've done the math. Spirograph. Don't be able to demon won't attack. Guys from Hasbro had a laugh. They invented Spirograph. Gateway to the demons of the dead. Didn't know that playing once caused me to step out and run. End up falling 10 feet on my head. Spiroverse, Spirograph. Danger don't add up, I've done the math. Spiroverse, Spirograph.
Who the fuck are you? Looks like we've got ourselves a Spirograph standoff. Huh, isn't that just like a Desmond? Bring a Spirograph to a gunfight. Hello?
Jonathan again, still no luck. The next location is a local library not far from you. Should be as easy to find as going from A to Z. No poison pen letters here hopefully. You'll find what you are looking for this time. I promise, my word is my bond. Time is ticking, don't let shit get flushed away. I'll send you the coordinates now.
Ah, this must be the place. Tales from the Spiroverse. I've heard of these. Some people say Z not Z writes about shit, but I've heard he writes about many of the Spiroverse things, and that they're quite good really. I've also heard there's a fourth one coming soon. Ah, here we go. Confidential. That must be what I'm looking for. Oh, what's that? Crinkle cut cuisine? Ah, those dirty bastards. These was the ones selling the crinkle cut foreskins. Oh, bit of booze. Don't mind if I do.
Oh God! Oh, the dam is about to burst. Why is there smoke? Where's it all coming from? There's nothing left. What's that noise? Hang on, I can hear ticking. Holy fuck, is that a bomb? Oh God, what a horrible nightmare. Oh, phew. Still there, still intact. Thank fuck for that. Fucking hell, holy shit. Where am I? Hospital? Why am I clothes different? Fucking hell, that's horrible. Oh, it must have been the explosion. I need to call Hadafy. Oh, Hadafy. Glad you're alright. I had a horrible dream that I shot you. Yeah. No, I appear to be in the hospital. They've tried to blow me up. I can't tell you too much though. You know. Yeah. No, I'm going to need to go. I suspect there's Desmond's here. Well, at least my gear's next to me. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to escape. Right, I'll talk to you soon. Right, let's get out of here.
He's getting away! Get after him! You get after him! I'm not doing it! After him! All of you! I'm not getting him. You get him! I want bigger rations of crinkle cut foreskins before I go into any dangerous situations. I want some foreskins. I don't want to run though. Can you go get him? Bring him back. Oh, he's mine. I'll get him. Gonna crinkle cut that cock. Bye!
Having dumped my getaway vehicle, I made my way to the closest bus stop. I have arrived in London, or as I spell it, S-H-I-T H-O-L-E, shithole. It's weird that I'm now getting direct text from the shit headquarters. I don't know what's going on there. All I do know is that I'm going to need to break into number 10. What can I do? I'm going to have to distract the police somehow. Ah, I know. There's a building over there. If I tell them I've just seen a teenager with a fully automatic assault crossbow and a zombie knife, I'm sure they'll respond quickly to that one.
Well, that was easier than I thought. Sounds like they're having one of their bring your own booze parties. That's good for me. Let's get this computer unlocked, shall we? Wasn't even locked. Typical. I need to find these files. They are not going to shut down shit. There it is. Alright, I've found it. I've got it. Yes. Right. Now I've got to change the documents so that they're not shutting down shit. To swap number 10's booze budget for shit's booze budget. You never need to buy our own alcohol ever again. I'm just going to scroll through, see what else is on here. Quite a few things on this. Lots of things mention me blowing things up. Let's delete that. Fires, delete. Shootouts in public, delete. Drunk and incapable in public, delete. That's bullshit anyway, I'm never incapable. Right, hang on. This says that our informant was killed. The government have evidence that our informant was killed, yes. Holy shit, that explains all the stuff that's been happening lately. Hang on, there's a picture here. Shows who they suspect killed our informant. But he's dead. Shit, I heard a noise. I better get out of here.
Turns out it wasn't Diarrhea Man, but a Diarrhea Woman. Either his mum, sister, or maybe he's had a sex change. Who knows? If he's alive. I can't work out what she is. They're not any type of Desmond I've ever seen. Whatever has been going on, it must have been some kind of revenge plot for what happened in the caves. As for the secret conference, it was a complete failure. Nothing was reported other than a mass diarrhea outbreak. Number 10's plans to shut down shit were thwarted, and we'll never need to buy booze ever again. I wonder what happened to that little black sheep who tried to warn me. I hope it's okay. I should have listened. I have one last thing to do. Before I escaped number 10, I pulled all the files, and I now know where Diarrhea Woman is. Stalking out public toilets, making gory holes. Probably why I see that same graffiti in them. I think it's time to go and pay her a visit. This one might be a hard nut to crack, but I have the perfect thing for that.
I always lie, you bastard.